In our last 3 sessions, we discussed a letter from a people pleaser who wanted to change her ways. We talked about an example of her mother calling her on the phone to ask that she run an errand, and I suggested that she had spent far too long trading imitation love with her mother and others to be able to give her mother anything freely, which is the nature of real love. So she would have to gain enough experience with receiving real love from others such that imitation love would no longer be attractive to her. I also suggested that as she filled up with real love and became more whole, she would lose her need to demand love from any one person or group, a mistake most of us make. Now back to the writer of the letter. We believe that just because someone is our mother or husband, for example, that person is obligated to love us, and that is not the case. The instant we expect someone to give us something, we make it impossible to receive anything they give us unconditionally. We can feel only that we receive it as a result of our expectations or manipulations. Now, why does this matter? Because receiving love unconditionally isn't just important, it's everything. Everything else we have called love is worthless by comparison. So do whatever it takes to find it, to find real love. Tell the truth about yourself in the ways we discussed earlier, and practice with the people around you saying no to the opportunities they will give you to trade imitation love. Let's look at the example of your mother and the errand again. It's important to practice with such examples, because if you don't, they'll take you by surprise and you'll tend to respond to them with the old habits. You'll find yourself earning conditional approval again, which will not give you the kind of happiness you want. So imagine your mother calls and says, "Can you pick something up for me at the mall this afternoon?" Now, if you happen to have plans to be at that particular store at the time she's describing, and it's exactly what you want to do, great. But in this case, let's suppose that it will be a huge inconvenience. It will mean rearranging your schedule with the kids. It will stress you out hugely, and you really do not want to do this. But in the past, you've always done it anyway. We believe that if we're really loving, we'd always do what somebody asked us to do. That's wrong. If you do something out of a sense of obligation, you're not offering it freely. The other person will sense that, and nobody wins. You don't feel loving, they don't feel loved. Lose, lose. So, in this example that we're talking about, be polite and say no. It is not loving to always say yes. That's actually called being a hostage or a slave. It's loving to offer what you can offer freely, understanding at the same time that we should always be striving to be growing in our ability to love. You can care about someone's happiness and still say no, and then not feel responsible for their disappointment and irritation when you do say no. Another way to say this is that you can learn to genuinely care about people, but not care what those people think of you. This is an important principle in real love. If you try to always please people, you won't become loving. Instead, you'll become resentful, as I believe you've noticed already in yourself. So, lighten up, kid. Be as loving as you can and keep learning to be more loving. In the process, it is a guarantee that you will not please people all the time. In fact, You might even fail to please most of the people much of the time. Keep learning. Keep finding more real love, and you'll figure it out.